Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Friday, June 26th, 2026. The National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for our area, set to go into effect Friday morning and remain in place through Saturday evening. A red flag warning means that we are experiencing critical fire weather conditions. A combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures can contribute to extreme fire behavior. A low atmospheric pressure system heading south this weekend will bring extreme winds to our area, but little, if any, precipitation. Here in the Morongo Basin, we are expecting highs in the triple digits, 5 to 15% humidity, and windy gusts up to 40 miles per hour. The National Weather Service says that any fires that develop in our area are likely to spread rapidly, and they discourage any kind of outdoor burning. The warning is in effect until Saturday night at 11 p.m. Sunday's forecast calls for much cooler temperatures. Highs are predicted to drop in 29 Palms to the mid-90s, and in the rest of the Morongo Basin to highs in the 80s. And the wind will return to its usual 5 to 10 miles per hour. The first day of summer arrived on Sunday, along with a handful of days that brought summertime temperatures. Online news editor Robert Hayden joins us with information on where you can go to cool down if your personal options just aren't cutting it.
Temperatures are dropping a bit this weekend, offering a short reprieve from the hot and humid weather we were experiencing just a couple days ago. Humid weather can make it difficult for folks with only a swamp cooler, as evaporative cooling relies on dry air. So on those muggy days, air conditioners are the only thing that can really bring the temperature down. If you don't have access to either one of those, that's where cooling centers can come in. These spaces are provided by municipalities as a shelter from the heat, a place that you can relax and cool down in. Temperatures typically rise as you head east from Yucca Valley through Joshua Tree and into 29 Palms. The 29 Palms Senior Center on Adobe Road acts as their de facto cooling center. But in the past, it wouldn't open up as a cooling center until it hit the heat index of 115. That number is different than the temperature. In fact, the heat index is also called the apparent temperature, meaning how hot it actually feels. Your body cools itself just like a swamp cooler, using evaporation on your skin to drop your body temperature. And if the air around you is so hot and humid that your body can't evaporate that sweat, it's going to feel hotter than the temperature says. City Manager Kevin Cole told the City Council at their last meeting that this year they're going to be dropping that heat index requirement down to 110. The city uses data from the National Weather Service to make that determination, so depending on what weather app you use on your phone, there may be a slight discrepancy in that number. It appears unlikely the heat index will hit that mark this weekend, but it's always good to be prepared for the sudden heat once it drops into the valley. In addition to cooling centers, third spaces like county library branches, community centers, and other public facilities offer free places to cool down, and during heat waves, the city will announce the opening of cooling centers as well. However, not everyone has access to the internet or even radio for that matter, so if you're listening to this, keep this information handy for when temperatures start to climb and help let people know about the spots that they can cool off in. If you see someone struggling in the heat or seeking shade, offer them water and let them know that there are places of refuge from those daytime temperatures. Z107.7 will do our best to keep you up to date on extreme weather conditions such as excessive heat or monsoons. 7 times a day with our news broadcast or in between songs with ZJ Kim in the mornings or Adeline in the afternoons. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
Did you know that reports of domestic violence increase when school is out of session for the summer? That's according to Unity Home Executive Director Susanna Barnett. She oversees the Morongo Basin Unity Home, which provides services and shelter to the victims of domestic violence. Barnett and Unity Home Education Coordinator Marcos Escalera were guests on a recent episode of the Z107.7 Up Close show. Barnett spoke with host Gary Daigneault about the history of Unity Home, its mission, and why domestic violence reports increase when school is out.
It actually started in 29 Palms in 1982. There was some concerned members of a church, and then there was a military person and also a nurse. They saw that there was a lot of families coming into the church that spoke about homeless when they found out that they were, misplaced due to domestic violence and fleeing violence in their home. They started Unity Home, and that was in 1982.
And how long have you been in the second location?
The second location we've been, I want to say now 33 years.
Oh, wow. How many clients can you serve at one time at that location?
The shelter has 30 beds. We have 6 large bedrooms. It looks like a home. We try to make it as comfortable and home-like as possible. Fireplace in the living room, TV, family room, children room, basketball court. We try to make it as home-like as possible so they can come and feel serenity and feel safe, most of all, because that is the number one priority.
You've been there for 30 years.
Almost.
Have you seen ebbs and flows of the incident of domestic violence, or has it all been pretty consistent?
I don't believe that people have gotten more violent, because I am an optimist that because of funding, because of social media, because of awareness, it's just people are able to reach our services. So I don't think we're, gotten worse or anything, but we do see a rise when school is out. Then we have a lot more hotlines because families tend to stay to keep the children in the school area. And then when school is out, then they flee the abusive relationship.
So what is the primary mission of Morongo Basin Unity Home?
Safety, prevention, breaking the cycle, and educating.
So if someone's experiencing domestic violence and they don't know what to do, what's the first step they should make?
Is call our hotline, and we will help them.
And what is that hotline number?
760-366-9663.
You can hear their full conversation by listening to the Up Close Show as a podcast at our website, Z107.7fm.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. Bargain hunters, collectors, and creative makers alike are invited to a community yard sale hosted by High Desert artists tomorrow morning. The outdoor sale will feature a variety of vendors offering everything from household goods and collectibles to unexpected treasures. High Desert artists will be selling items left behind by the building's previous owner, along with donated goods from gallery members. Inside the annex, artists and hobbyists will discover a special sale of surplus and unwanted art supplies. The High Desert Artists Yard Sale runs tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. to noon. High Desert Artists is located at 55635 29 Palms Highway in Yucca Valley. The High Desert Beekeepers Association meets tomorrow. This month, they'll ask the question, how do you extract honey? If members have harvested honey this year, they ask that you bring some honey for others to sample. The High Desert Beekeepers Association meets at noon tomorrow at Rainbow Stew. Also tomorrow, join herbalist and gardener Charles Shamhart for a session about soil amendments, fertilizers, shade cloth, spring versus fall seed varieties, and more. You'll also learn how to sprout difficult seeds like peppers. That event is happening at 2 p.m., also at Rainbow Stew. Rainbow Stew is located at 55509 29 Palms Highway in Yucca Valley. And finally, interdisciplinary artist, alchemist, and author Eliza Swan celebrates the release of her new book, The Alchemical Imagination, Creativity as a Catalyst for Radical Transformation. She'll be in conversation with author Annie Knoll at Desert Trade in 29 Palms this Saturday at 5 p.m. Reporter Gabriel Hart chatted with Swan about their new book and what alchemy means in practical terms.
Eliza Swan's alchemical imagination is structured around the 12 stages that the 15th century alchemist George Ripley outlined for creating the Philosopher's Stone. Each chapter explores each one of these stages through multiple lenses, as a laboratory procedure, a philosophical inquiry, a symbolic system, and a series of creative prompts that readers can engage in themselves. An expert teacher of modern alchemy across disciplines, Swan traces the principles of alchemy through its applications in protochemistry, healing arts, psychology, visual art, and literature, so readers can develop the tools needed to arrive at their own great art.
Alchemy originally is a science, it's a natural science, that because the scientists didn't have access to equipment that allowed them to see into spaces where their physical bodies wouldn't go, they incorporated philosophy, mysticism, trance work, and poetry into how they accessed the more inaccessible sort of intelligences in nature. So it is a laboratory science, it is a natural science, and it is in many aspects an empirical type of science, but it's radically interdisciplinary.
The book aims to make alchemy accessible in practical terms, since Swan says alchemy is inherently arcane and often introduced in initiatory slogans, like the one her own teacher used, looking with 2 eyes that can see.
And for her, that meant that you would look at the world through a solar eye, which can see a cause and effect, measurable impacts, empirical data, difference, seasons, timing, etc. But you also, as an alchemist, have to look at the world through a lunar eye, which sees everything as interdependent and actually sees reality as this big sort of wave of consciousness. And if you put the solar and the lunar eye together, you have a 3D map of reality.
Saturday's event will be moderated by Annie Knoll, author of the mythic memoir The Spring, who's an alumni of the Golden Dome, a nonprofit art school for mystics founded by Swan in 2014. The event invites the audience to reconsider alchemy as a living practice of responsibility, renewal, and imaginative possibility, revealing how creative transformation can shape our response to the challenges of the present. The event begins at 5 p.m. this Saturday, June 27th at Desert Trade, located at 6750 Sherman Road in 29 Palms. Free and open to the public. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Gabriel Hart.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 local news, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.